Ladies and gentlemen, Loop Radio and 440 South are proud to introduce to you, for your listening pleasure, the awesome Dark Rain and Angel. Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Limey Bastards. Myself, Kenny Dark Rain, and my co-host, Mr. James Angel.
Hello, mate. How are you
doing?
I'm good.
I'm not bad. I'm not bad.
I'm good. You're not bad.
Have you had a good week? I'm not bad. You're not good. You're good.
We're all good then. Everything's pretty good.
Well,
yeah, no.
It's good night from me.
Exactly.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, no. So
have you had a good week? Have you had a good week? Start like that.
I have had. Have I had a good week? I'll have to think about that. That's a big question for me, Ken. Do you know what I mean? I'm only in the. I'm very. I'm very Buddhist. I'm Buddhist. I'm really in the moment, and I'm in the now, and I can't think.
Very sort of Zen, man. You know, I'm very Zen. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man. You know, it's like in the now, man.
Yeah, I'm like just like. Everything is now.
It's in the now, man. It's in the now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
no.
So you don't know if you've had a good week. Have you had a good day? How about a good day then? Like make it a little bit shorter, make it easier for you.
Yes, I have had a very good day. I'm on form. I think I'm on form. No, I've had a good day.
You sound on form so far.
I'll see if I'm on form. I can't tell it yet, but no, I'm good, my friend. How are you? How's your week been?
It's been fantastic, absolutely awesome week. I'm still coming down after Monday's show with the incredible Mr. Stuart Epps. So that's
competition winner, and it was a
good show.
So we had a winner.
Yes. Did you fall asleep?
No. I was like, see, this is it. We both speak at the same time. Like, how are you? How are you? How are you? And then we go, no, I'm going to listen to Kenny now. I'm not going to speak over him. I'm just going to listen to him. And then there's a big frigging silence. I don't want to talk because he's going to talk at any minute. He's going to speak.
It's the way I roll. It's the way I roll.
It's the way I roll. I'm out. So, yes, I caught some of that. I will admit I was a little bit tired and missed the finale, the top winner. So, but we did have a winner. We did have a winner in the Epps competition.
It was Mel Barnett and Billy Plough's song, and a young man by the name of Bjorn, Big B, he goes by the name of. So
that's right.
They're going off to have their track mastered by Stuart, and the Honourable Johnny Gibson, he also gave a prize, which was the artwork for the whole album. So
wow.
Yes, okay. and that went to the run. One of those went to the runners up too. So it was a good show, and thanks to everyone that participated. It was brilliant.
Yeah. No, good stuff. And then wasn't there I was going to say by coincidence, but not by coincidence, by probably sheer talent, wasn't the guy involved in our special guests, tonight's special guest being Sylkay, the lovely Sylkay, wasn't he involved in the production of one of her tracks or something? Wasn't there?
Yeah, Billy Plough. I think Billy Plough's works with. I think they're part of a. Well, she'll tell us in a bit when she comes on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she's in a collaboration group on Facebook, and they all get together and combine their talents and make up tracks and stuff. And Billy Plough is a musician and producer. So.
Talented guy, really talented guy. But no, well done, really. Congratulations on a very successful campaign.
So I'm not running for president.
Yes, your campaign was.
Sex.
I'm not down with the sponsors
have sex
though.
With James Angel.
I'm not down with these sponsors though. What's all that about?
Yeah, what's all this What's all this sponsorship then thing?
What's all that about? I was all angry about 5 minutes ago, wasn't I? I was like,
sponsors this and sponsors that. You were saying?
Yeah, I just thought, I don't know, it's all crazy stuff. So, what are we doing, my friend? What's on our agenda for tonight?
We're going to play. We're going to play the top 5 tracks from last week's top 30, and then we're going to reveal the information about our new book, which is the Limey Bastards Dictionary for Americans, because they obviously don't know what we're saying.
I don't know, mate.
They don't know what a north and south is, or an up and a downer. So, or apples and pears. They don't know none of that stuff. You know what I mean? They're like ignorant, ain't they? So, yes. So we're going to do a dictionary together.
That sounds like a good idea. Let's start with A. Apples and pears. Right, we've got that one down.
Yeah.
Apples and pears. We'll work on B later. That's not taking all my brain capacity to think of that one. But yeah, there was who was it? Was that Gravesy? She was causing trouble, I believe.
Gravesy was causing trouble because she didn't understand what we were saying last week on our show, and so she got this. She found this dictionary of English sayings for Americans. Obviously, she had lots of fun on Facebook with that, didn't she? Eh? Ridiculing us and making a mockery of our careers.
Exactly. Look, Tempest. A mockery of our careers. I like that. No, listen, I've done that already, mate. It can't make it any worse, surely. What was I going to say? Yeah, that was during our Drew special last week. We had the amazing visionary sound system, and she was making these American comments about our diction or our vernacular. I've just made up a word. A vernacular.
I like that.
That sounds freaking good, that, isn't it? I like that.
A vernacular of angels.
Oh, that's yeah, there's an album there. It's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration with somebody. Let's play the number 5 sound on our top 30. If you're just tuned in, you're listening to the Limey Bastards here on 440 South in New Jersey, and also around the world on Loop Radio, the very best independent radio station on the planet. This is a track from the lovely Jalixa. This one's called Jalixa's Funk.
Everybody come on and dance, let's party tonight. I'm bringing this funk to set a good mood for you. So raise up, don't sit on your can. You gotta bring it funky to fulfill my plan. You thought I was only bringing you techno, house and pop. Those are not the only beats that'll make you rock. Now I like country, R&B and jazz. I even like my hip-hop, but the funk right now, it's where it's at. Say come on and dance, let's party tonight. I'm bringing this funk to set a good mood for you. So raise up, don't you sit on your can. You gotta bring it funky to fulfill my plan. Now this groove is cooking like earth, wind, and fire. George Clinton and the Parliament. you sit on your can. You gotta bring it funky to fulfill my plan. Jalissa's funk, Jalissa's funk. That's what it is. Jalissa's funk, Jalissa's funk. Whoa, whoa. Jalissa's funk, Jalissa's funk. Hey, that's what it is. Jalissa's funk, Jalissa's funk. Party tonight. Can you feel my funk? It'll get more funkier. Everybody, you gotta bring it funky. Can you feel my funk? Can you feel my funk? Can you feel? Can you feel my funk? Just let it set in your shoes for a minute. It'll get more funkier. Oh, funkier. Stirring it up. Keep stirring it up. Push this groove to the max. Yeah. Keep stirring it up. Keep stirring it up. Just let it set in your shoes. Can you feel my funk? Yeah. It'll get more funkier. Funkier. Stirring it up. Keep stirring it up. Keep stirring it up. Push this groove to the max. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. My funk.
That's awesome. Jalixa there, and Jalixa's Funk, and that was number 5 on our Loop Radio Top 30 chart. Have you just gone to the toilet again?
No, you just caught me. You just caught me. You just caught
Tell
me.
you what.
Just caught
Caught me
me.
with my trousers down, didn't you? Caught me with my bleeding trousers down.
Thank God it's not got a webcam. Put it that way. No, sorry. I was halfway through drinking, taking a gulp of coffee, and you're like, and that's Jalixa with last week. I'm like, choking myself. She's pretty
You've
cool.
got to keep on the ball. Jalixia's great. Yeah, it's brilliant. Lovely sound. I was saying maybe we'll try and get her to come on the show and pick 12 of the tracks, and maybe she'll come on and after I nearly ruined her career with the last time I did an interview with her, maybe she'll come on and do something with us. It'd be great.
Yeah, talk about our faith again, how relevant and prevalent. Prevalent. I'm coming out of them tonight. Prevalent.
Was it? Have you? You must have swallowed that. You must have swallowed that diction that Gravesy gave you, didn't you?
Yeah,
American diction.
see how relevant and prevalent.
Prevalent.
Yeah. Rolling.
An elephant.
An elephant. See, that's the way I rock. Just rolling, and I'm rocking, and I'm like, just chucking it out there. That's my style. It's just new. I know. I know.
What are you doing? Are you working on anything at the moment? You working on any music? What are you doing? You're in our top 30 chart, aren't you, by the way? Yes. Thanks to the lovely Gravesy. Gravesy nominated your track for the for our top 30. And I said, you're having a giraffe. I said, we're not having him on there. Bleed Angel. No, can't have him on there. And she said, if you don't have him on there, I'm going to quit my position as the senior female presenter. And I said, well, in that case, I better put him in. So there you are. You're in our chart, top 30. Only because Gravesy wants your mind.
I think, I've definitely, I think I have definitely one vote from the lovely Colleen, Miss Gravesy, as we've now renamed her. Lovely Gravesy. All right, Gravesy.
Wait, Tony, wait.
Gravesy. So it's you like that. What are they talking about? Get the old dictionary out. Get the Limey dictionary out. But it's nice to be back in the charts after a hiatus.
After a long break.
I don't think I've released a track since the last time I was in the charts. I'm up. I'm in there with the big boys. I'm like, come on then. So I'm calling upon my lovely. He's speaking German.
Don't talk to me like that. I was just about to say that you've got a lot of competition this month. With you got Cheryl Nye in there.
Bring it
on.
on.
Vaughan Adams. Vaughan Adams from Australia. He's in there too.
Thanks.
So you got a lot of competition.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's like no, I was going to say a quiet month. There is never a quiet month. Everybody's always freaking rocking. So it's become, I have noticed, right? And you always think, oh, here he goes. And, but
have I got time to repeat?
Yeah, right. No,
I have time to go to the toilet.
No, I've noticed that it's become quite a even bigger thing to get yourself in the charts. Well, no, not get yourself in the charts. Get up high in the Loop Radio chart. It's become competitive. Yeah, shut up. He's already going around in circles. But I got some interesting.
I said. You got some interesting emails.
I saw these emails. Like a proper canvassing. Like, oh, here we go. Here we go. It's like there's no messing
about. Vote for James
here.
Angel. Yeah, parliamentary candidate.
Yeah, I've only just sort of like done my post on my Facebook page, but I'll have to. And now that I've seen what I'm up against with the email. What they called, when you send out mass emails to everybody, all your followers, or what they could, spam straight in spam, straight in the bin it went. But no, I've noticed it's a competitive thing. People like being, rightly so. It is. I mean, it's like we've spoken about that a little while ago. With I'm going to cough again. Excuse me. I'm at the doctor's as we speak. I'm at the doctor's right now. What am I talking about, Kenny? I can't remember.
I haven't got a bloody clue. I'm just going to say, I'll say a big hello to everyone in it. No, I didn't. I forgot what it was now. It was about a week ago when I was at Tune, and you started waffling on about, well, when I was in the charts last time, I did like it very much being in the charts, and I think I'd like to be in the charts again. Thank you very much. So if you'd like to vote for me, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
I was trying to go for the reverse psychology of like, there's all these people canvassing. Oh, what are they like? Whereas I'm like, I'll be boosting my post next week and spending a fortune on it. But no, it's all good. It's all good fun, isn't it? It's all good fun. But
you're listening to the Limey Bastards waffling on here on Loop Radio and on 440 South in New Jersey. Hello to everybody over there in New York. I'd like to say a big hello to everybody in our chat room tonight. We've got the awesome Colleen Gravesy Dragon. We've got Ellen Ribeiro. We've got the Stormy Tempest. She's in there. James Uzi. Oh, yeah. The wonderful Visionary Sound System. Our Joe Doyle, our artist liaison. We've got Bedrock are in there, and Alfred Bunning. Big welcome to you, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
hopefully we won't bore you too much.
No, I see some new faces here, or new faces to me at least. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, lovely. And is the word on the block, the word on the street? Okay, is that I've heard on the internet radio grapevine that the lovely Miss Midnight Graves and Tempest Sky are planning on a show. I think we've already
it's getting very close. It's getting very close. Hopefully, it will be next Thursday if we can we can sort out the technical stuff. But yes, I think they're going to be calling themselves the Yankee Babes.
Yankee Babes.
So the Yankee Babes.
Oh no, I'll be definitely tuning into those two.
Yeah, and I think they've put down. They've actually thrown down the gauntlet to us. They've thrown down the gauntlet to the Limey Bastards because they want to. I don't know what they want to do, but they reckon they can rock.
Yeah,
they can rock us.
Yeah, and they haven't even started, and they're already
no chance.
Yeah,
there's no chance, is it? Yeah,
no, they're all
so already. I think we should. I think we should have some sort of competition each week, maybe with them. Maybe I don't know. We'll do a mixed track or something. I think Drew was saying we should have get them to do a mixtape. We're gonna rock the Limey. No way, you're not gonna. You're not nowhere near the Limey Bastards because American Babes. You know what I'm saying?
OMG, we so rock. Like, see what I mean? It's like
what does that mean? What does that mean?
OMG, another man's girlfriend. We so rock.
That's funny. Another man's girlfriend. What's all that about?
That's disgusting. It's like So, so
anyway, we're going to play a track while Jimmy gets himself sorted out. This is our number 4 sound this week. This is the awesome Volume Conflict, a track called Face Off. Some Volume Conflict there, a track called Face Off, and they were number 4 on our Loop Radio Top 30 chart last week. So they're a good rocking band. Are you a bit of a rocker, Jimmy? Do you like a bit of rock music or what?
I do. I mean, I think rock's such a wide genre, isn't it? Just to say rock, so many things come under the rock umbrella. But
I get really pissed off. With all these subgenres, because I don't understand them anymore. It used to be quite simple, it was like punk, it was rock, it was metal, it was, and now there's all these subgenres and I don't know, psychedelic punk rock, flunk. You just know where you are. It's like R&B. What happened to R&B?
R&B? Well, but that's the thing. R&B used to be rhythm and blues, as what stands for, right? R&B is rhythm and blues. But under that, say like, umbrella, could be anything. I mean, so much stuff. It's like, oh, right, I see. I mean, rap music, can come under rhythm and blues. I mean, it's like, it can't, it's like certain rap stuff. But am I a bit of a rocker? Well, listen, I like the odd, it's like all music, isn't it? If you hear a track and it hits you and it doesn't matter just what kind of, let's say, genre it's in, it hits you and it grabs you. So, but I'd say generally speaking, I'm not a heavy rocker. I can't. I'm a pop rocker, ain't I? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, even my music comes under. Are
you more sort of Pink Floyd rather than sort of Led Zeppelin for example.
No, more Mark Bolan than that. Do you get what I mean? It's like there's the rockers, like proper.
Yeah, but was that pop rock though?
I think so, if you know what I mean. It's like, so I think that's where I'm coming from. It's like I of course, there's tracks of Led Zeppelin, and you're like, freaking hell, they're the most, some of those riffs are the most amazing riffs that are still, out there. And then obviously Pink Floyd. I mean, I just have weird memories of Pink Floyd of being a child. No, it's bringing back haunting memory. I can't go there, Kenny.
That would be the drugs. That would be the drugs.
That's what I mean. But I think it was my. Dare I say, my parents smoking lots of strange substances and listening to that music.
Your
so that's
parents
where
smoking strange substances?
Yeah, I believe so. I think, well, you can probably tell.
Hey, Dad, pass us some of that spliff, Dad, would you? Come on.
It wasn't far from that, I'll be honest. It wasn't you're not too funny.
I'll have that £5 note when you're ready, because I've got a line up here I want to snort.
Yeah,
What sort of family did you have then?
Oh yeah, it's pretty. Let's say progressive. That's a nice word to use. But I just remember actually sort of lying in bed as a kid and Pink Floyd sort of being wafted up the stairs in this fume. It kind of was carried along with the fumes, and Dark Side of the Moon playing. And there's me sort of like, with headphones on or a Walkman or something, sort of trying to get lost in my little rock and roll bubble of listening to, as you know, my Billy Fury.
Playing my boy bands.
I just want to be in a Billy Fury. I want to be Billy Fury. I don't want to be in Pink Floyd. So, but obviously, production and all that kind of stuff, I sort of appreciate it as I got older. But, yeah.
Your family sound awesome. Your family sound awesome. Do you think they'd adopt me?
Well, no,
I'm an orphan now, so.
Well, no, you turn out like me. You'd have all the vernaculars that I've got going on, and I don't think you'd want to be me, really. But no, I think it's that thing. It's great when you're a kid, when you're allowed to do what you want to do. It's like, if I want to be in a band, I don't want to go to school anymore. I want to be in a band. And they're like, yeah, all right then. That's
really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, 15. I was like, I want to play guitar and be in a band. And they're like, yeah, all right then, just do what you like. It's like, so I can't, and that can be a brilliant thing. That can be, it just didn't work out too well. It's like, 25 years later or whatever, 30 years later, I'm like, have you heard my track Crashed? I mean, has anybody heard it? It's like, it's taken that long. But, no, I was pretty. It was pretty easy going. Let's say pretty easy going, say the least. Wow. So, and they love music. They really love music. So I can't remember what I think I've spoken about this before. How I got into listening to rock and roll, because nobody else did. None of my little mates did or anything. It was just I found an Elvis tape or something, or it was like still back in the heady days of cassettes knocking about, and started listening to Elvis when I was really young, and just got lost in
Elvis was vinyl, mate. Elvis was 78s, wasn't it? But it wasn't cassette, was it?
No, but I'm talking about. I mean, I didn't have like an old what are they called, gramophone player. They weren't rocking
gramophone records.
Pink Floyd out on the rock. I dance set out. They weren't. No, I think I was into hi-fis and big frigging speakers, and I just remembered lots of bodies lying around on the floor with headphones.
Really?
On. Like, yeah.
Your family sound awesome, man. They sound really cool. I like to, are they still around?
No, they're dead.
Let's come round for tea.
No, they died of drug overdoses. but moving on.
Oh no, I was going to come over for tea. Some of those special cakes that your mum makes. Yeah,
I think she used to put them in my packed lunch. No, a packed lunch. Have some of these. Off you go. But maths. I'm going to be American. Maths just was not the same, Kenny. It just wasn't the same. So, no. Yes.
Like Stormy Tempest, then.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what?
Yeah, it just wasn't the same. That's how she speaks. You'll hear her on it. And no, we heard her on 2 weeks ago. I'm busted already. I was going to say that's how she speaks. But no, she doesn't.
But she doesn't, because we know everyone heard her. Yeah.
What a lovely voice. And them two together. Oh, imagine.
Can you imagine those two? Can you imagine Colleen Dragon, Robin Graves, and Stormy Tempest in the same studio? Can you imagine? That'd be nightmare, wouldn't it? It would be like, ah, you know, wouldn't it?
I think it's going to be pretty sexy, if I'm honest. I think it's going to be like Dim the Lights.
Dim the lights.
You know, draw the curtains. What's the tonight's the night. It's going to be all right. It's going to be like that.
Me and my friend, yeah.
Yeah, it's the date of destiny, that is. I feel quite hot just thinking about that, if I'm honest. Play with yourself, says Joe Doyle. Hey, that's a bit much, Joe.
Play with yourself, Joey.
Can't say that.
In the chat room, we've got Mr. Visionary Sound System, and he wants to know, he's got a very serious question, to be honest. He wants to know that if your parents did adopt me, would I get my own quiff? That's what they want to know. And would it be as big as yours? Because if I'm going to get a small one, I'm not coming.
Well, I suppose you'd have to develop it. It takes a few years to develop, so you just sort of wake up in it, and it bounces back into that position. It takes a good while to train the what they're called. When your hair's what's it called? Follicles. It takes a while to train your old follicles, but yeah, of course you can. Of course you can, mate. It's like, but no, they didn't have quiffs. They all had long hair and stuff. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's like them all 80s looking, but I used to listen to Human League or something like that. I was like, but yeah, so yeah, I was all. At least I exposed to a lot of good music.
We've got the lovely Sylkay coming up in a bit. Have you spoken to her before? Have you met her before?
Well, I haven't spoken to her before, but obviously I've heard her music, and I think when I was asked way back in the heady early days of last summer, was when you asked me to come and do my 12 songs, or maybe it was Christmas, because I was feeling all a bit sort of Christmassy, wasn't I? I was all a bit sort of, everything's so touching and all
Jingle
around.
bells and all that stuff, isn't it? Yeah, lots of vulnerability in people's voices and all that sort of stuff, wasn't it?
A lot of vulnerability going on, wasn't there? And I picked one of the lovely Sylkay's Lost in Time. Have I remembered that properly? Is that one of her tracks? It is, isn't it? Is it Lost in Time?
Covered in Time, it's called.
Oh, shit,
Covered in Time, actually. You see? You just don't have a clue, do you? You just haven't got. You don't know where you are. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what's going on. You just roll up, don't you? They pull you out of the Rolls Royce. You just pull you into the studio, and you sit there and you just waffle on. And you've got no clue, have you? Hey?
Do I know. I'm a bit like that, but no, she's lovely. I'm a bit woo, I'm a bit way. I'm a bit like, you know what I mean. So I'm a bit like Drew, but yeah, she's lovely. I'm really looking forward to obviously talking to her, listening to her music, and hearing what she's got to say. Obviously, so no, she's excellent. She's got a fantastic voice. So as well.
Just in case nobody knows, the lovely Sylkay is our featured artist this week, and she is going to. She's picked 12 tracks, and we're going to play them and talk about them. And if you'd like to come on the show with us, with the dirty bastards, the Limey Bastards.
Dirty bastard. You dirty bastard. You are.
If you want to come on the Limey Bastards Show, then get over to our website, www.loopradio.net, scroll down to the bottom of the stage and click on the Be on the Show link and send us your stuff.
The stage? Stroll down to the bottom of the stage, you just said. It was way.
Did I? Well, sorry. Sorry, mate. It's like, I'm back in the day, so I'm thinking. I thought I was at Wembley. I thought I was back at Wembley,
just scroll down bottom stage, wasn't I? You dirty bastard. Look at that. All rock and roll tonight, isn't it? So what was that you saying? Scroll down to the bottom of the page.
I can't remember now. The bottom of the page.
What are you doing down there?
You click on the. There's a little thing that says "Be on a Show." Click on that, and then fill in the form. Send us your stuff, and we'll get you on the show. Yeah, it'd be good. Oh God, I'm going home. Anyway, listen to this track. This is our number 3 track this week. This was number 3 for the last 3 weeks, I think, 3 weeks running. This is the lovely Empress Nelly and a thing called "Be Good to Me." They came from the north and from the south, united as brothers, to bring you, our listeners, the very best independent music on the planet. Every Wednesday evening on Loop Radio, simultaneously on 440 South, we bring you the awesome Dark Rain and Angel. That's the awesome Empress Nelly there. Be good to me. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Limey Bastard, the Dark Rain and Angel show here on loopradio.net and simultaneously on 440 South in New Jersey, New York City. A big hello to all our listeners out there. Yeah, brilliant, isn't she? Princess Nelly, yeah, love it. She was on my show last Friday, I think. I interviewed her on the Upload show last Friday. Yeah, really, really nice girl. Really nice, and she's been very supportive and likes all her stuff and on Facebook and on Twitter. So yeah, nice, and obviously great talent, did you say?
No, that's it. It was the first time I heard that track. It was like it just makes it. Well, listen. I mean, there's so much stuff. It's like that gets uploaded. I just think, always say this, always constantly am blown away by the amount of talent that's out there, and without sounding like Stuart Epson and the amount, like really well produced stuff that people uploading, and it's an interesting track. Though, at first I heard it was kind of slightly. I was just saying to you just now. It's just slightly sort of. I don't know. It's like but then that's what makes magic work, doesn't it? When something just isn't straight down the line, something off key or slightly out, or timing.
We've had some amazing stuff. I mean, the quality of the stuff that we get loaded every week is amazing. I mean, bands like the Windsor Project, Bedrock, Alfred Bunning, Reeve Angel, and Kill for Eden. All these bands, just awesome. Just awesome bands, and we're really pleased. We're really humbled by the quality of it, and long may it last.
No, of course, it's just fantastic. So can you tell me, you're asking about my musical, family history. Were your family music and stuff like that? Did they like the old gramophone players? You were saying, did they like?
Well, my family were gypsies, so we travelled around a lot when I was a kid, and we stole quite a few record players and records and stuff, but we had to sell them we had to sell them to feed the goats, so
down the market.
It was very rough. It's not funny. Everyone thinks the life of a gypsy is fantastic, but making pegs all day, it's just not on, is it? It's just a hard life.
Were you the lookout on the corner? Wait, quick!
Yeah.
Did you do that thing? The old under the coconut. Where's it gone? Like three, that kind of like quick, move. There's the old bill. So the old bill. Oh, well, that's a good one for the Limey show. The Americans will understand that. Yeah, there's the old bill coming. Yeah. So if anybody can tell us from America what the old bill is, there's a mini. And one of my mini competitions, Kenny, you don't get anything.
A little mini competition with Jimmy Angel. No, to answer your question honestly, and no, they weren't. No, well, my dad was Scottish, so he was from Scotland. So obviously, Hogmanay was a big thing, and everybody got up and sang. That even if they couldn't sing, everyone got up and did a bit at New Year. But apart from that, no. But I had I was the youngest of four, so and then my brothers, my two older brothers, used to buy records all the time because they were working sort of thing, and I was still at school, and so I got to listen to a whole load of great music without paying for it, which is fantastic. I've been doing it all my life, to be honest.
I think I remember you. Yeah, exactly. Me too, but and still am. No, but I think I remember you telling me this actually, or when when the lovely Joe Doyle, artist liaison to the Stars, was interviewing you. Oh yeah, and you were telling
so we so I had although there weren't music in bands and stuff, that's where I got the bug.
What kind of music did they say? Like your parents, what kind of music did they like? Were they sort of like or what were your brothers into, or your siblings, should I say? What would what kind of stuff were they?
Well, they were all into the. They saved up their 6 shillings or what the hell it was, and they were buying the Who stuff by the Who and the Stones, and the Kinks, and all that sort of stuff that was, and there was loads of it at the time, especially in the UK. I guess it was the same in America too, but in the UK there was loads of bands, especially once the Beatles came. It was like the big record companies went around Liverpool and just dragged everybody off the street that could hum in tune, and so
that's it.
It was
that's it. But then
everybody and anybody.
So that's it, and that's where I'm musically. That's where I check out, because up until the Beatles, who ruined rock and roll, came. I mean, let's face it, Elvis was devastated. He was never the same after the Beatles came along. Billy Fury, had to resort to doing dreadful ballads in the '60s. So, yeah, I resent you lot. I resent them. It's like not my period of music at all. Friggin' Who, British Invasion, Mods.
The Mods and the Rockers, yeah. That was the sort of stuff that, and as soon as I could, I got, I got into bands and stuff, and off I went.
You were. Did you play guitar? Did you play guitar?
Just a singer mostly. Yeah.
So you just fancied yourself as a singer? You just sort of, were you like something like that?
Well, it started at school. I was in it started off when I. You want to know this? Here we go. So
Go
So
on.
it started off when I was
Go on.
I was at school. I was at school, and you had to do an instrument, and everybody, all the good-looking guys got the guitars and all that sort of stuff, and all that was left by the time I got round to it was the violin, right? So,
Oh, okay.
so
Right.
so they give you a violin, and I stuck it for about 4 days, and on the way
Did
home
stuff,
from school,
yeah.
all my mates would take the piss out of me because of this violin case and all that sort of stuff, and so I gave it back and said, no, I can't do that, mate, sorry. And that was it. But so I was in the sort of the singing. We got little bands together, and I was just singing then and stuff, and quite enjoyed it. And so it went on from then.
Yeah, no, that's how I sort of more or less I sort of met a kid at school who could play guitar. I didn't play guitar back then, and just was blown away. So I remember sort of, I think we bunked off, as you say here, bunked off school.
There's another competition from James Angel. If anyone in America can tell us what bunked off means.
Yeah, so we got bunked off, and what was my other mini competition? Somebody will have to remind me already. I've forgotten my own mini competition. The old Bill. The old Bill. And bunked off. But and was so impressed that somebody could play a guitar. I was just like, wow, oh my God. And kind of changes your life really, and just even listening to music, I don't know what it is. It's sort of a bit like a blessing and a curse. I think most musicians are, well, I was going to say would agree with me, but maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd be like, no, I don't agree with you at all. Yeah, but
I think the camaraderie was, especially when you was first starting out, and you're all sitting in a room trying to write something original, and you're 15 or 16, and you're just coming up with all utter shit, really.
It's exciting.
You're going out with. Those lyrics sound fantastic, mate. Yeah, well, we'll have that one in this song, definitely. Yeah, I love that bit about the elephant coming down the road. Yeah, it's great.
And the thing is, nobody's listening to each other at all. That's the thing as well. When you're like, nobody's. You can sing a load of rubbish. And it sounds great. Yeah, it's brilliant, because they're just concentrating so intensely on what they're doing. Am I loud enough? You know what I mean? It's like guitarists. Just the curse, isn't it? It's like, am I loud? Can you turn that down a little bit? I can't hear anything. And then you've got the drummer, bash bong. You're like, can you shut up a minute while I try and tune up? It's bloody nightmare. But but it's changed my life really. As soon as I sort of walked into that kind of energy, let's call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for better or worse, I don't know really. When I look back, I'm like, but then. What do? You love music, and you're off and you're running.
Well, I think if you've got that creative streak in you anyway, you can't get away from it. It's going to come out one way or another, and if you don't try and do it professionally, I mean, and if you don't make it, then at least you tried, don't you? So have a go.
Well,
not everybody makes it, do they? Not everybody makes
it. No, that's it.
There's still a lot of bands that are still doing it because they love the music.
Yeah, and a lot of people like ourselves, like we've spoken to as well, have come sort of almost like full circle, tried letting go of it, tried to get no, that's I can't be doing with that. Stick the old guitar in the loft or wherever, and garden shed, and, or the decks. Let's try and be a bit trendy. Stick the decks, or put them on eBay, and. Before you know it, you're off and running again. You're like, why am I making music again? And because you love it, and it just doesn't go away. So, it's a brilliant thing, really. But that was exciting, very exciting as a kid. I think, do it for the sheer pleasure of just doing it. It's like without even thinking, I want to be a star. And I mean, I did, of course. I was like jumping around on the sofa as a 9-year-old, wanting to be. Billy Fury, as everybody knows, as I was going to say, looking in a mirror. So nothing much has changed.
Not really. No, you're still looking in the mirrors and taking pictures of yourself. I think the great thing about music now is and being on Loop Radio and the music we get. A lot of the bands are. I'm not going to name any names here, right? Just in case, but a lot of bands are probably in their the late 40s, 50s, and they're just they've been doing it for a long time. They've either gone and come back to it, and are now doing it just for the fun of it. And And it's brilliant. It's brilliant to see. You know, they're still doing it. They've still got it in their blood, and they're producing excellent music. You know, which is fantastic.
Wow, that's the thing. I mean that back to that, and then I think we were talking with Drew last week of just technology these days, being able to produce stuff that you would have had to have gone into a studio, spent a fortune on, just to get something that sounded half decent, and that was it. If you wanted to go back and remix it, you'd have to spend another fortune. But you can produce stuff now that sounds, like me, half decent, and then you get some of the people I'm like blown away. I'm like, what, you did that, in what? But the home studios, even sort of just that's just conjures up like one, like, oh, what, just on your computer. But you can have pretty good, good setup even just at home, which is, we've spoken to a good few people who have just said, no, we did that at home, or did it in the kitchen, or did it here, or, it's not. So, yeah, incredible.
I do all my stuff in the phone box.
Well, you're not doing mine in the toilet, so yeah, I know yours is in the phone box because you're always ringing people in the background. Hello, hello, can I line you up for the next interview? Like that. Yeah. So, but you did a track.
Big Mac and chips, please. Big Mac and chips.
Yeah. But you produced a sneaky little track this week. You're always coming out under the radar. You are. I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? And
no, that was just an old one, and it's one I did for about a year ago, I think. And I just thought I'd give it another airing, because it was coming up for. It was about the Sandy Hook massacre in America, about those kids, those poor kids that got killed and stuff, and I think it's coming up for the anniversary now, so I just thought I'd give it another plug.
That's it. Well, I mean, I think. It's like that. It's mad, isn't it? You think a year ago or something. It's like, but when you pull out a track and go, oh, where's that come from? And it's like so much stuff. That I think there was a track this week. Robin hadn't heard of mine. So where's that come from? I'm like, oh, well, I only did it a year ago. It's like, but I was sort of think, well, he's done a sneaky one. He stuck it online and come under the radar, but listen this week.
never told me about it.
No, it didn't tell me. But yeah, very, very dramatic. It was very dramatic. Was it dramatic? It's like, this is dramatic. You're so dramatic, aren't you? Dark Rien.
Oh yeah. Dark Rien.
Yeah.
So over in the chat room, they're talking an absolute load of old twaddle.
What are they talking about?
They're on about. What are they on about? They're on about.
Our accents.
Oh, she's on. Yeah, Graves is on about. She's talking about what's his name, Robin Bloody Williams again, Robbie Williams, or Robin Williams, which the one that's not dead, and Tempest likes Daniel Craig. God, they're just talking about blokes.
Yeah, I know, but don't get started.
We need a bride. What's this? What's this? We need a bride. Old doily. She's put, we need a bride for Prince Harry. Who does? I don't need a bride for Prince Harry. Sod him. Don't get his own.
I hate the royals. Absolutely boring. Disgusting.
Anyway, let's fellow track, shall we? before you get us all hung. Yeah, we'll be in the bloody tower next week.
Yeah, you don't like it. Yeah, go on. You don't like, it's like God Save the Queen. And you're like, oh God, here we go. Right, anyway, cut. Next track.
This is our number 2 track on the top 30 chart last week. This is the awesome Infinity Process and a track called I Won't. I wish he wouldn't. He keeps on it.
Hi, this is Joe Doyle, artist liaison to Loop Radio and the Stars. EJK's debut album, 15 Years, contains 12 original songs, all written by EJK herself. They are available on www.ejkmusic.com. Reigns of Emmett will be releasing a new EP on May the 14th. I will keep you updated on that one. Our very own visionary sound system, Drew Ralph, has just released a new album called Eponymous, and very good it is too. You can download it off of www.last.fm/music/visionary sound system. If you have a new single, album or concert date you would like me to announce on our Loop Radio website, then please send me an email via the contact form on the website. That's all for this week. I will be back next week with some more updates on www.lootradio.net, the best independent radio station on the planet.
From the Infinity Process, and they were number 2 on the top 30 chart last week with a track called I Won't. You're quite fond of the old Infinity Process, aren't you?
Well, I think they've been really great. I mean, I think, as you know, it's like they've been really, great, obviously in supporting Loop Radio and being part of the whole community and everything. And being, 440 South, obviously, and our cousins over there, But I think they're really, like you were saying, do you like rock? I mean, so they would be called rock, wouldn't they? I mean, but so different feels and different vibes to rock. But yeah, I've listened to their album a few times, and really good, really good stuff. So it's like that thing of just constantly discovering new music. And I think I was telling you, I was watching this. Yeah, I was watching this thing earlier, just about sort of like just how things get picked up by then, corporate media. Things are smaller. I think I've been saying, isn't it great when you find a band that you get really into and know it's like your own little discovery, rather than some big mass market thing, and you feel like you feel an affinity, like you like a part of a smaller little group. And then obviously, and I won't get started on my record company rants.
You promise?
Why have I gone all northern? My rants, Kenny.
I'm into me rants now. Me under rants.
Northern rants, my rants.
Don't out lies again.
I'm going to rant.
Yeah.
Right, a rant. Can't even speak. But anyway, sorry to answer your question.
Well, I wish you would.
I like them. Sorry, that was the short version. Like yeah, I like.
Yeah, thank you.
Like Kenny, do you like them? Do you like them, Kenny?
Yes, but what you were saying is great, because I've discovered a new band this week that I like. Really do like a band called the Windsor Project, which is Bob Black. Bob Black's in the post box. No, he's not. He's in the chat room.
Post room?
And he's in the post room. Yeah, but Bob uploaded or the band uploaded some tracks this week to us, and they're just a great band, and every week, we get uploaded so much good stuff, and it's just such a joy to listen to it, and be involved in it, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is it. As you said, it's like just. I mean, I get sort of, I sort of almost feel overwhelmed sometimes. It's just sort of the amount of brilliant artists and music, and I promise not to go into my record company rants. but it's like, there's so much stuff that could obviously be mainstream and signed and all that business, and but they're just out there doing it, producing incredible music. Not just the production of it, but just the general standard of music. But as we were saying, maybe last week, was it always out there? It's just like now we've got this brilliant thing with the internet where you could, get your music, upload it, send it to a radio station, and then off you go and get it heard by people, get it heard by an audience, and incredible, brilliant stuff.
I think we were talking last week about back in the day when when you other bands on the circuit, and I can remember being it was Sussex University, and we were doing support for the Clash.
Oh wow!
The band I was in, and three other bands. There's just three support bands in the Clash, and we were all backstage before the kickoff, and everyone's sort of like scowling at each other, looking at each other and looking, going, whoa, woo, all this sort of stuff. And nowadays it seems a lot different. I mean, we got people that supporting us and liking all our stuff and sharing and getting to know other bands and other people in the bands. It's just a great sort of family atmosphere. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's it. So much more supportive. I've spoken about that a lot as well. As you said, it's like, when I used to play live as well, just everybody sort of just really kind of distant from each other and not a community spirit at all, and or wanting to, and of course you sort of like maybe become pally with some people in bands and what have you, and that's how other bands some people chip off and start new bands together. But I must admit, not in the circle of people that were going around at the time I was. Everybody was like that. Nobody really kind of had it with each other. So I think it's that thing. It's one, making, just enjoying making music yourself and getting, just sticking, plonking it online basically. But then also just then being part of this community. Like, as you know, I just sort of stumbled into it. I'm just kind of like, oh, hello. And then I was listening to Stormy Tempest's show one night and, oh, internet radio, what's all, I didn't realize the impact and how brilliant and how amazing this whole thing was. And before you know it, here I am, I'm a limey bastard, and off we go. It's right.
Stumbled in the back door.
That worked all right, isn't it? It's like, I'd beg your pardon. That was painful. I went to the doctors about that, though. But, it's all brilliant, all really good stuff. And, as you said, you get some daft people being silly about, anyhow, you always get characters or people like want to just kind of make trouble, but generally speaking, I would say that the supportive atmosphere of everybody just sort of liking or promoting each other or just saying, giving the people bloody thumbs up, whatever it might be, has been excellent. It's definitely been brilliant for me. That's all I can say, Kenny. It's been brilliant for me, mate.
Well, that's good. It's been brilliant for me too. What are we talking about? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's have our number one track this week in our top 30, and then we'll get our lovely Sylkay to come and join us, shall we? I think she's probably sitting outside in the car and waiting in the cold, so maybe we should get her in and just warm her up a little bit before we start. So this is the number one track on the Loop Radio Top 30 chart this week. This is the awesome, the fantastic Bedrock, and a thing called Undertow.
There was a time when all the anger in the world couldn't hurt me. There was a place where I could run away and hide. Across the deep water, I could gain a little distance. Walking with you hand in hand, running on the cool wet sand, or swimming hard, straight out from the shore. Now chopping waves and currents strange are carrying me out of range. Don't think I can fight them anymore. I am caught
time for our special guest here on the Limey Bastards Show. Please put your hands together for the awesome Sylkay.
Hey!
Hello. How you doing?
Fine and fabulous.
You all right? You ready to rock?
Sound
Always.
fine and fabulous.
Yeah,
With
how's it been?
creaky bones.
Creaky bones? Is that where you live? Is that where you live? They
No.
ask you how, they ask you how you are, not where you live.
Creaky Bones, Brisbane. That's where I come from.
Creaky bones, Brisbane. Yeah, Bris Vegas.
Great to speak to you. How you doing? So you all right?
Yeah, hanging in. How are you?
We're very good. We're very good.
All right.
And the last time you came on the show, you were. What's all this feedback going on? You were, last time you were on the show, you were a great inspiration to a lot of our listeners, and they all wrote in and said how inspired they were by your story and everything. So I just thought I'd let you know that one.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, you are inspiring. I told you, you're one of my heroines because you never let your problems get you down or make you miserable. You're always very positive, and it's great.
Well, you got to be a trier.
Yeah, if only James Angel was a bit more positive,
No, I'm just a downer. I just like moaning.
You sound like one of these old punk rockers, James.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I've got to
mate.
really stop doing that. Sorry, that is so terrible. I do that. It's like putting these dreadful accents every week, and everybody goes, "That is rubbish. Can you stop doing that? It's so rude." But yeah, I'm like an old punk. Yeah, I don't care about nothing, do I? Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Now do a big sniff.
I'm just going to gobble over Kenny. That's the way I roll. The way I rock. So yeah, kind of, not really. But so what's the deal? So you're gonna give us 12 of your hot fave tracks at the moment. So are these tracks, current tracks that you're rocking on right now, or are they sort of just stuff that's been going on for, that you've picked up for, whatever period of time and just sort of got into them? And so, what's the deal? They're just songs you like, love, play often?
Well, when I was asked to do it, I just sort of...
Shut up, Ken. Go on,
Shut
sorry.
up.
It's, I'm being really professional here, and it's like ruining it. Like some old punk.
Just wait for you to shut up so that she could just get in an answer,
Yeah, I'll just keep talking. So are they? How do you like them? I like them. I'm just sort of wondering what you think of them, really. Because I could play it. Sorry.
Where's Muttley? Muttley, you forgot to come in.
Yeah, he says.
Actually, most of these people are my Facebook musician friends, and I actually could have made this list 100, really. So because of that, I had to decide when choosing the tracks what came in front of me on the day. So I'm not choosing people out of loads and loads of friends who are amazing, talented people. I had to just let it happen organically. So, yeah, a lot of people I know. The only person I don't know, haven't spoken to except for his little message, was the little unsaid. So he's probably one of the bigger ones out of my listing, as in, doing a lot of record sales. So it was really nice to get a little message back from him.
So the first track you've chosen is one of our mates, two of our mates, in fact, or three of our mates if you include the drummer. It's the awesome Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
Why did you pick this one?
Well, the first two songs actually are two Aussie bands which are friends with me on Facebook, the Bounty Hunters, and they've got their album out, And the title track, obviously, is what we're going to play. I'd really love to plug my friendies, the Bounty Hunters. I love them lots. So we're hitting it off with Aussies.
Clouds rolling in, block out the sun, feeling real low, nowhere to run. Wonder how long you can carry this weight. Destiny lies in the hands of fate. When all hope is lost and you think it's the end, face a new dawn, open your eyes. Be strong, be true to the dream in your heart. Out of the ashes, the phoenix will rise. Turn things around, make a new start, find some hope, faith in your heart. When you're taken a fall, you're down on the ground, pick
That's the awesome Bounty Hunters there. I do beg your pardon. I'm talking over my guests here. That's the awesome Bounty Hunters there, and a track called Rise, and that was chosen by our special guest this evening, the awesome Sylkay KSB, DSO and Bar. So how are you? How are you doing there?
We've asked her that. Are you recording? How are you getting on with the recording? Any new music on the scene coming from yourself?
I'm asking you.
Who, me? Shut up. Shut up. Any new music coming?
I actually have quite a few projects, actually. One of my own. I've just finished doing a country song for Jimmy Blue. There's another song I've done for a UK chappie, which should be out probably next week.
Wow.
And another guy I've just sent a vocal track to, doing some harmonies on his song. They're all coming in.
Brilliant.
Excellent. No. So,
I
and
won't,
do you have like
I won't send you one of my tracks then.
No, we won't get in there.
Yes, you can.
We haven't got a chance, Jimmy. We'll be. I'll get round to it in 2017.
Yeah.
Is that all right for you?
Yeah. Can I book you in now for 2017, March? Yeah, if we're still alive.
No, I'm loving it.
That sounds
Yeah,
brilliant.
it's good.
Sounds really busy. Yeah, no, good stuff. So, and is this, again, is it pals? Is it people you met online? Is it just connections? How have all these projects come about?
It all happens via Facebook, but it's due to different groups. One of the guys I'm doing some harmonies for, he's from a collaboration group. And somebody he gave the project to didn't get around to it, so he knew I'd been interested. So he just private messaged me, and away I go.
It's great, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, too easy.
Yeah.
I always say to people, all you got to do is ask.
Yeah, we do that, though. Nobody replies.
No, you haven't sent nothing.
No, we're just talking about in general. We do it to each other.
Yeah, I'm gathering that one.
Yeah. But that's another
Not in the
subject.
biblical sense, though.
No, of course not.
Right.
So the next one you've chosen is a track called Shades of Grey by The Sign. Is this another Australian band?
Yes, they're from Tasmania. My friend Jo on Facebook and her husband. And this is actually one of the first releases from their new album. And the album is called C, The Sign. C as in key of C. Every song's written in C, I think she told me. So Shades of Grey is the first track that they've released.
Temptation came, I said, wandering again. Turning heads up, heart of stones making love to him. Innuendo, time consuming, saying words don't mean a thing. Communication breaking down, I said she was wearing rather thin. Shades of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. Shades of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. Pulling down the blind and drawing the curtain. Would rather walk away, feeling uncertain. She does to you what she did to him. She's hurting you does to you what she did to him. She's hurting you again with a shade of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. Shades of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. Stepping into Beijing came, I said, wandering again. Turning heads up, heart and stone making love to him. Innuendo, time consuming, saying words don't mean a thing. Communication breaking down, and said she was wearing rabbit things. Shades of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. Shades of grey taking you away. Shades of grey now. 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 Shades of grey now.
That's the sign there, a track called Shades of Grey. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Limey Bastards here on Loop Radio and on 440 South in New Jersey and on Fame Music Radio in South Africa. And we're here with our special guest, the awesome Miss Sylkay, KSB, DSO and Bar. So how are you? That was a good track. Yes, so these Australian friends. Have you met these people? Have you met these people personally, Syl, or just
No,
virtual friends?
most or all of these people I've known for a number of years on Facebook. So I think I've only met one of my song choices physically. But no,
Do you think that's important?
plenty of.
Do you think it's important? Do you think it's important
Yeah.
to meet people face to face, or is it, or can you still be friends with people that you've never actually met physically?
I think you can have both, but I think it would be lovely that the goal would be that you could meet. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about all these people I've chosen. We're talking around the world. I mean,
Amazing, yeah.
Scotland, Ireland, the States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. These are all people I talk to on Facebook.
That's amazing. I mean, we talk about this often, like being able to send files around the world, and how brilliant technology is these days, and how you don't need to sort of physically always be with people. There's sometimes it can be a really good way of working because you're not physically in a room with somebody, so you don't get all the kind of the banter and sort of to and fro. It's very clean cut. It's like, well, like just somebody sending you a track and saying, do you want to put some vocals on this or whatever it might be, and you don't always have to know them. But, as you said, ideally, it's nice if you do meet them, but it's not essential. But
It's not essential. I just think everything really always has two sides, because to physically meet them could make or break it. Honestly, it could go 50-50. You might meet them physically and go, oh, fuck,
I know.
They weren't really straight up with me, were they?
that happens to me often.
I can imagine.
It does.
It's because you're quiff, isn't it? It's because you're quiff.
That's
because
it.
you don't really have a 4-foot quiff. That's the problem.
Well,
you tell everybody that you do.
If it flops down, they get a bit disappointed that it's not at full mast.
James Angel, the floppy quiff. Yes,
What else? Moving on. Oh God! I'm just always bound to disappoint. It's just been the story of my life, really. No, But yeah,
but you did actually meet somebody though, Jimmy, didn't you? You did meet up with some of your fans. You were telling me a while ago.
Do you know, I did. And, do you know what? It was lovely. It was really, really nice. And met some people lately. Well, met a few people lately, but you know, it just sort of, you know, it was just nice. I wouldn't say shut up. I wouldn't say they were fans. They're just people who follow. I'm far too humble to call anybody a fan. They just sort of like what I do and follow my music and stuff like that. And they were in the UK, happened to be in the UK, and just asked to sort of, you know, I was going to say hook up. I say that a lot, but that's in the US, that's having sex, isn't it? Hooking up. And so I don't know. I have
no idea.
You say that in Australia. Do you go like, you know, yeah, we're hooking up? That means sex, doesn't it? It's like, so
no, because Still and I have hooked up loads of times. I mean, you know, there's never been anything like that. What are you saying?
No, that's what I mean. So, no, I said that to a couple of people in America. I go, yeah, do you want to hook up? And they're like, God, you don't mess about, do you? You just cut to the chase. Like, no, I only mean meet up. I mean meet up. And they're like, well, make your mind up. Are you in or you're out? You know, it's a bit like Kenny. You in? You out. So, no, it's nice. I met some people lately, and it's just lovely. They're really, absolutely, really, really lovely people. So respectful, and it was just nice to obviously have that connection. But that wasn't to do with music, as you said. I mean, I think that's, as you just said, that can work, you know, go two ways. But then we were just chatting. Sometimes miscommunication online, that can backfire on you, you know, because you maybe say, like, you write something or you think you're being a bit funny or whatever, and it doesn't translate. So it's a two-way thing, and sometimes you sort of think, well, you never said something wrong. What happened there? I thought we were getting on. I thought we were, you know. So I think, you know, that can happen. But, yeah, so, yeah. If I write, do you want to... I never hear from him again. I'm like, hey, do you want to hook up? And it's like, that's about. So doesn't work well. Doesn't go down well with the men. That most of the time. But I'm
going to have nightmares about hooking up now.
Yeah, you see.
Hook up. See if I come to Brisbane.
Don't ever say that to an American.
Well, hook up, James. Gee, watch the gossip train go now.
Yeah, exactly. So. Anyway, so I don't know how we got into that, but yeah, just the whole online offline business. But no, I think it's fantastic being able to send files around the world.
I know you run a radio listings group on Facebook still. What's your take on the whole Facebook thing? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, personally or musically, or what do you think about it? What's your opinion, Sylkay?
Well, look, honestly, for two reasons I'm there. No, actually, I'm strapped to it now thanks to that bloody radio listing.
What?
Strapped to Facebook. It's like, you know, I should get a life and get off Facebook. But I'll tell you two important things. I would never have been able to collaborate so much if it hadn't been for Facebook. Number two, last year going through all my stuff, being on Facebook, having support from loads of my friends is the thing that pulled me through. It really did. There were days I had to shut off. There were days where I see nothing but negative on Facebook and I really have to get off because it just, when it's a negative day, it just skyrockets, it spirals, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get off. Yeah. But most days is really, really important for me to talk to people. I'm a really personable person. I love people. I've learned so much through people, and I believe you can support a person by typing on Facebook and saying, I'm here for you, I'm really feeling for you. I wish I could be there physically, but I can't.
Sure.
But I'm here as much as I can. And those people are important. There's some really amazing people, and a lot of them become close to you.
Do you think it's replaced that sort of thing of, like, you know, the communities that we would normally will have created in the past, say, in real life, like when communities or streets or towns, and you'd get to know people. Do you think it's replaced that, though? Do you think that, like having this online, like you said, it's a fantastic thing, being able to just sort of plug in and connect with people instantly. But do you think that's kind of, in one sense isolated us from that thing, that maybe we would have had more, what am I trying to say, more physically?
No, I think it's a valid point because, when I was a kid, I was born in London and as you know, Jimmy, London now is a place full of strangers. But when I was a kid, everybody knew each other in our street, and the doors were always open, and people were coming out of each other's houses and help. Do you want any help? Do you need anything? Blah 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 blah. And that community spirit, I think, is gone now from certainly from the big towns. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's what Facebook has taken the place of.
Yeah, look, I really think we need to, and in the beginning when I was on Facebook the first 2 years, I hardly left the door, and then all of a sudden I woke up and said, this is mad. You've got to find your balance. You've got to go out there. People don't know neighbours anymore.
That's what I mean.
And in my last year, when I was going through treatment, two of my neighbours here and right next door to me, that lady's she's English, and she made a point. She's the old school. Came to our door and said, welcome to the neighbourhood. And it was her and the lady she's known for 20 years in this neighbourhood that supplied us with meals.
Yeah, see, this is it. I mean, it can go. That's it. I mean, and it can go two ways. I mean, it's like I've got people near me who I've seen for, I don't know, years, 10 years, and they don't, the same face every single day, and don't say hello to each other. You sort of think it's weird. It's like sort of, but on the other hand, if you're not housebound, but, if you're kind of stuck at home, or you're recovering from an illness, or you're just going through something, being able to, communicate with people online is just like being essential, like you said. And there's been times where it's absolutely been essential for me as well, where I can't get out there, and I don't feel like socialising. I don't feel that, being gregarious and talking to neighbours. And it's a two-way thing. Sometimes you can talk to a neighbour and you can't bloody get rid of them. Do you know what I mean?
Or a co-host.
Your co-host who just won't shut up. Those types who just won't shut up. They knock on your door and they go, can I be part of this show? And then suddenly they just don't shut up. Those types. So it works two ways. Works two ways, doesn't it, Ken?
I don't know. Yes. Anyway, the next track you've chosen is by Eden, a thing called On the Radio, I think is what it's called. Can you tell us a bit about this one?
The song's called Eden, and it's by a young guy called Jacob Riddell.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, because obviously it was labelled properly, so I could read what it said, which is great.
Yeah.
I've seen this. I don't know if I've heard the track, but I've seen this guy. I've seen some of his posts online, I think, so I may well know the track.
Yeah, well, I was actually part of a group. Liam McFadden, he runs a group called Music for Gentlefolk, and he had noticed my folk music movement group. So I did join his group, and within that, Jacob posted a few songs, and he posted this song called Eden, which was actually just a live radio recording, but I went, wow. Oh, I love it. He said, make sure you tell them it's a live radio recording. I said, I don't care. It's great. I want to play it, and I want you to be part of the two young guys that I'm actually wanting people to hear tonight.
Right.
Before the dawn, in the sun, in
So the next track you've chosen is a track called Eden, I think, called On the Radio. What's that one about, Sil?
Eden is Jacob Riddell, and I found him on a Facebook group called Music for Gentle Folk, and I really, really love this live radio recording of Jacob's, and I asked him for the track, and he said, yep, not a problem. He's one of the 2 young talents I've chosen in my 12 songs tonight.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I do. So I hope you enjoy Eden. He did it live in a radio station one day. I think it's good enough anyway.
Let's get away in my garden, oh my love, and we'll sing to the mountains above. Let the north wind carry whatever she may bring, and we'll watch for the new day to sing. And I'll eat well in my garden, oh I'll eat well, oh I'll eat well. When my heart is out and open, I'll eat well. And come to our place, yes, our private little place, and we'll see the day move on now. Don't try and chase all the powers of his face. Oh, he's gone forevermore, and we'll eat well in my garden. Oh, we'll eat well, and we'll eat well when my heart is out and open. I'll eat well. I'll eat well in my garden, oh darling, I eat well. And I eat well when my heart is out and open. I eat well.
That's a track called Eden there by someone whose name isn't showing up in the software.
Jacob Riddell.
Jacob.
And live.
Riddell.
Live recording.
That was brilliant for a live recording, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
So you've been around music for a while, Sil. Why are you still doing it then? Why do you keep doing music?
It's just in my blood. I can't get away from it. I have to do it.
But this is it. We were just saying while the track was playing, of like, you know, that thing of being, you know, the with technology and being able to get music out there, and you were saying, you know, the how brilliant it is that we were laughing a minute ago talking about cassettes and stuff like that, but just being able to record and getting music online, it's, you know, definitely rejuvenated my passion, and that has with Kenny as well, making music again. But have you always made music, or has there been gaps, or are you kind of back making music? I mean, what's the story?
Oh, I actually had quite a big break. when I was writing my own music, I was very, very folky, and folky really went out of style, and my friends were like, oh my God, you sing folk? And I just got, you know, I just lost all my confidence and went, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. It can be as simple as that. It's ridiculous, I know. Go on.
It is, yeah. And basically, I had my son, and he just started school, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with myself for a little while, because I want to be an at-home mum to be available for him for a little while. And then I started looking around the internet, and I hit on actually, Kenny, you'll like this. It was a website called Not Just French Music, and and it's by a French lady, Emma, her name was. And actually, oddly enough, I met someone else who's on my list via this website. But anyway, generally, her and her husband ran this website, and you sent tracks to them, and they put it on their website. It was a, you know, we're talking about 6 years ago, so it was pretty cool at the time, because I didn't find out about Reverb Nation and someone in that group. So then I was introduced to Reverb Nation and basically went, well, I'll put up my old recordings, but, you know, I don't think anyone's going to like it. And I met a really great musician, Paul Butler, via Reverb. And he was the one who first told me to upload on a radio station. And I'm like, what? And just got to know people more and more, became friends, and I offered to do harmonies and things like that, and then they started offering doing things for me, and as we were saying, James, karma has it.
That's it. No, that's it, definitely. But what I did notice about you know, a lot of your tracks is like you know, I'm always banging on about production and stuff like that, but the production on your tracks is quite incredible. I mean, there was one, I'm terrible at remembering names. I can't remember. I think Kenny's got 2 songs, so I can't, I just a blank. I go, Kenny, what's that one called? He goes,
I only have 2 songs, Jimmy. I only have 2 songs, Jimmy.
He's only got 2 songs. That's what he's...
And you can't remember either of them.
No, there's one called Nothing. I can't remember my own. Listen, people go, what's that last song? I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't remember. But
I totally get it, James, because we do nothing but talk to musicians every day and listen to music. How do you remember them all?
Well, yeah, it's just you're in trouble when you can't remember your own. Do you know what I mean? That's when you're really sort of thinking, oh God. But what there was one I chose actually when I was doing my
Covered in
top.
Time.
Yes.
Covered in Time.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I
now
love
the
it,
production on that was just beautiful. I mean, fantastic. I mean, how how was that recorded and stuff? How where did you do that? Did you do it in the studio, or was it home recorded, or passed around, as you said, the internet? How did that come about? That track?
Oh, again, it was someone I met on Facebook, and Billy Plale. He. In this particular collaboration group, you actually put up a project, and you put up what you're asking for. So you might want guitars, vocals, or you might have just done the lyrics, and you ask for what you want, and you design this project page, which is all templated. Fred Jam's done an amazing job in this group. So you go and create this project. So I created Covered in Time, and I said, I'm looking for music and I'm looking for production. Here's the simple recording that I made of the melody and blah, blah, blah. And Billy Plale said, I'd like to audition. He came back with this Celtic feel, and I went, oh, my God, that's amazing. And that was the first song we did together, and that's probably the best ever.
Well, no, not necessarily, but
it's incredible.
I think, yeah, I mean, it was just struck straight away. yeah, I don't know exactly when you brought it up, but it was around about Christmas time I heard it. And, yeah, you know, just was really taken aback by, obviously, the whole feel of the whole song and the vocals, everything about it. But, yeah, really struck a chord with me. I loved it, absolutely loved it, you know, when I first heard it.
So, yes, you're talking about Billy Plough there, Sil, because...
Yep.
Funny enough, on last Monday, as we found out, Melzy and Big B they won the Stuart Epps competition, and Billy by Billy Plough.
Well, Billy's bloody brilliant what he does. He really does, and he helps so many people. And he's been in Fred Jam's collaboration group for a number of years, but certain artists he has direct contacts now, and him and I. Well, he called me his friend the other day.
Oh,
so, and so you're talking about Mel Barnett?
Yeah, Melzy.
Yeah. Well, she's from the collaboration group.
Okay. Really? Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
That's where we all met. Yep.
So the next track you've chosen is by Nick Anden. This one's called Midnight.
Yes, this is a young guy I came across just recently, and I can't remember how, but it was on Facebook. And turns out he only lives down the Gold Coast, which is about 50 minutes from me. I heard this song and just went, oh my God. And hopefully you'll all agree when I say the word falsetto. Listen for it. I'll leave it at that.
In the darkness before the dawn, in the swirling of the storm, when I'm rolling with the punches and hope is gone, leave a light on. Leave a light on. In the darkness before the dawn, in the swirling of the storm, when I'm rolling with the punches and the hope is gone, leave a light on. Leave a light on. In the darkness before the dawn, in the swirling of the storm, when I'm smiling with the punches, leave a
Going in now. That's Nick Anden there, and a track called Midnight. Oh, that's a brilliant falsetto there. I see what you mean about the falsetto. Brilliant track. Love that one.
Yes. Yes.
And is that a cover of someone else's song? Because I don't know the song.
No, I think that's one of his own originals.
Okay.
So he hasn't got a lot at the
Excellent.
moment, and he didn't really know anything about plugging. I said, do you mind if I do that? And I'm going to plug you. And I'm like, wow. So he's very, very young and just learning. So I said, well, let me just have that.
Yeah,
and I'll
we're
do
all just
with
learning. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
send us some more. Send us some more, Nick. We'd love some more of that stuff. That's brilliant. That's really
I'll tell
fantastic. Are you there, Mr. Angel, or are you back in the toilet again?
I'm all right. See, I'm just being quiet. I'm just being subdued.
Yeah, that's right. I thought, you see, I'm always worried about you when you're quiet because I think you might have died. So I have to just make sure you're still there.
There is always that danger. Yeah, just keep sort of shaking me every now and again just to make sure I'm still breathing. But no, I was just being subdued. You see, I was just kicking back. I was just listening to the conversation. I was just with the odd. I don't know if you know, it's the old. See.
I thought
You did
it was your
very
Elvis.
well.
I thought it was Elvis impersonation.
I perked up a little bit when I heard the hooking up. I was like, I stuck one of them in, but maybe it wasn't loud enough. But no, I'm still here. I'm cool. I'm just listening. I'm seething with envy of all this young talent that's flying around. I'm just like, no, I don't really see envy. I think everybody's. It's brilliant. I wish I was doing. I wish I had this sort of community, a spirit of musicianship when I was younger. It was all really sort of, I don't know, the little circuit I was in was very dog eat dog. It wasn't much help going on, put it that way.
But that was because the music industry or the music business that they wanted you to be that way, didn't they? They wanted you to be at each other's throats because it kept you having that edge, didn't it? You know. And,
True,
and that's how they play you, isn't it? That's how they play you when you're young and easily influenced.
Yeah, and I guess it's like anything in life, like that sort of divide and conquer sort of thing. It's more easy to control people. It's like who aren't forming groups, and then suddenly going, hold on a minute, which did happen. And people were like, hold on a minute, should we, start an independent label and maybe move away from these people, which did happen. But I just meant sort of like just in a lot of musicians. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it just wasn't like. Maybe people just didn't like me. I don't know. It's just like. Or who?
No, I think that's true what you say. It was a different situation back then. I think because you're all fighting for limited places, and you're still doing that now. But at least now you've got the internet and you've got other outlets for you to produce your own music, and get your own stuff out there without having to rely on a major label. Which is good.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it was that sort of very competitive nature of a lot of bands I knew. It was like, as you said, there's a very limited place, or it felt like that sort of thing at least. The way the monopoly of the record. Oh, don't get me started on the music business, Kenny.
Give her a shake. Give that Sylkay a shake. We'll make sure she's all right.
Yeah, she's all right. She's gone to sleep now. She's like, oh no, Angel started on about the music business again.
No, I'm agreeing. I think we're very lucky, but I think there's a lot of camaraderie out there. And when you do it on the internet, you're attracting more of the people that you would have chosen.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, you wouldn't have chosen to hang out with a lot of those people just in the vicinity, or they would try and keep you in the box too.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. People didn't like you sort of like sudden. I mean, there was an absolutely best friend I had, supposed best friend. I remember a record company, sort of got interested in what I was doing, and they were sort of green with envy, and I was like, but it's just life, I guess. It's just like when you're suddenly somebody sort of like makes a move or does something different. It just sort of, makes people feel frightened, I guess, or I don't know what it is. I think all that stuff's fear-based at the end of the day, or low self-esteem and all that kind of business. But I just think when you're talking about the collaboration group, and of course, there'll be people you connect with, like life as well, but like with the internet, there's people you connect with and people you don't. And some people you connect with and you think, oh, this is really going good. And then it's like they move on and you move on and it didn't really happen and what have you. But and then you establish sort of, like you were saying, more solid friendships that stand the test of time and then actually become a really good support. It's not always just about the music. And it's like, as you said, you allow a little bit more of your personal life to be revealed to them and stuff like that. But, I tend to be just sort of fairly guarded and slow. I've learned the mistakes along the way as you do, but
don't we all?
yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like life. It's the same thing. But no, the collaboration group you're talking about sounds fantastic, and it's certainly worked for you. It's certainly the stuff you've produced is incredible, and as you said, and then some of the tracks we're playing tonight that have been part of that community as well, really incredible.
It is. It's fantastic. Good stuff, I reckon.
So what else we got? What we got out? What else is in our top 12 or that your top picks at the moment? Let's say.
At the moment, the next one you've chosen is by the Judes, a band that we've played quite a bit on the radio. It's called Bide Your Time. Why did you pick this one, Sil?
I've known Corey from the Judes for a number of years now, and I actually told him to get off his ass and send you the songs.
Oh, really? Well, good for you. Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent.
I send quite a few people via loop.
Cool.
To loop, I mean.
Via loop. They go via loop onto
better places.
Past loop, and you go right at loop and then straight onto
it's
BBC,
a loop, really.
BBC
they end
radio.
up back at loop.
It's just a signpost on your way to proper
to
FM
better places.
Radio. Yeah. So go on. Sorry.
Yes. So I've Corey and I have known each other for a number of years. I met him via Reverb Nation, and the reason I chose this track is this is the particular track I absolutely loved, and I think it's what started us talking, because I left a comment on Reverb Nation, as you do, and he private messaged back, and we did that for ages, and then Facebook, and we're still pals, so... And I'd love everyone to hear the Judes, but this was my favourite and still actually is one of my tops of theirs.
Bide your time, take it easy. Take what you need while you can. Tell her your feelings because she's leaving. Don't spend your life a lonely man. Looking forward to a heartache. At least I know I'm still alive. Why are my pictures all so empty? And all my memories in black and white. Oh, you came without a warning. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, look at me this morning. Oh, just look at me.
That's the Judes there, and Bide Your Time. That was chosen by our special guest tonight, the awesome Mr. Mr. What are you talking about? You fool,
Mr. Sylkay going to turn up. Is he turning up?
Hello,
Mr. Sylkay.
Yeah, right.
Sylkay.
Yeah,
Sylkay. So
thanks there, boys.
when we last time we spoke, we were talking about your Facebook pages, and you've got you had the Sylkay KSB thing because it was your music page, and now you've changed your name back to your real name. Was there a reason behind that, or you're just trying to confuse me?
Facebook bloody made me put my real name there, didn't they?
Oh, it's been
Did they?
about that.
So I cannot hide any longer. Not that it was a major secret, but...
No, but it's
nice to keep them separate, isn't it?
Well, I wanted to just because my partner is a very private person, so, and, you know, having a young son, I wanted to keep music and family separate.
Absolutely.
Because I have family in the UK and Scotland and New Zealand, and they're all on my personal page, and I didn't want to mix it up. Because what happened is, in the beginning, actually, a couple of my music friends went onto my personal page, and then all of a sudden, I had hundreds of people friend me, and then I accidentally was answering people under my personal page to my music friend, and other people were realising that they put two and two together. And they knew that Kirsten was Sylkay.
Right.
But I always wanted to keep Kirsten separately from my family. But then Facebook just all of a sudden one day said, you have to put your real name in. You can't have Sylkay.
That's happened to a lot of people lately.
Yeah.
And yet there's, I think that there was something I was reading where there was like, well, what about, say, like performers, or there's a load of sort of like, you know, on the
Exactly.
you know, because you have your friends page and then you have your likes page. And then there's just people, there's performers that want to perform under a certain name or whatever, you know, which is like, you know, it's gone on forever. It's like, so what's that one? John's real name? Reg Barney. No, what's his name? Reg Dwyer.
Reg
Dwyer, yeah.
You know, so it's just like, you know, imagine them saying, no, you can't use Elton John. It's just like, hey, what?
You got to be Reg the Veg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on there? But no, I've seen a few people that have kind of like clamped down. So what do they do? Just shut your page down or contact you? What did they have?
You know when they make a specific change and you log in one morning and this notice is you must use your first and last names, your real ones. And I'm not a liar, so I did it. You know what I mean?
But couldn't you have you got an artist page? You know, because a lot of bands and artists have pages now, don't they? Rather than accounts.
Well, I've always had mine, and that's the problem. Is when I went on Facebook Musically in the beginning, I didn't really know how it all worked, and then Reverb allowed you to connect with Facebook, which became your musician page, which is really where I want people to be if they're only fans. But everybody is being connected to me via my Kirsten Sylkay. Yeah.
So if you're a friend of Sylkay, or you're not a friend of Sylkay, or you're just passing by the station and listening in, get over to Facebook and connect with Sylkay. She's got lots of friends and she wants lots more. They're all coming over there now, Syl. They'll come around your place for a party.
Yeah.
All around Sylkay's for a Barbie.
I hope they bring a bottle.
So the next track we've got is a band called Spaceship Days. And I think called Hanging from the Satellites. What's this one about?
Spacey Boys. I've been friends with them. I was talking about a website earlier called Not Just French Music. I'm pretty sure that's where I hooked up with the Spaceship Boys. And we then, I think we just continued to sort of stay connected, really, and they're my friends on Facebook. The reason I chose this song, though, it's with the new lead singer, but it was a song I'd heard with their old lead singer. So I've chosen this one because for me it's both the connections. I've usually always corresponded with Charlie, so he's a really, really great guy. So Hanging from Satellites is one of the songs when I knew them from the original lineup. And that...
I can feel it in the air, climbing up the walls. The smell of cigarettes filtered through the alcohol. Never felt so can't describe the high you're moving at the speed of light. Up above the earth, waving as the world goes by. Never felt so high.
Just tune in, you're listening to the Limey Bastards here on Loop Radio and simultaneously on 440 South in New Jersey. That's the Spaceship Days there by our special guest, the awesome Sylkay, a track called Hanging from the Satellites. Yeah, I like that one, that's a good one. I've not heard a lot of these tracks you've played tonight.
No.
All new stuff, which is good.
Yeah, it's good to hear some new tracks. And
I hope people out there are enjoying it.
Yeah, of course they are. So,
I'm
what I
sure-
was just thinking
I'm
as
sure
well,
they
you mentioned Reverb Nation, a few times. How do we get hold of your music then? How do we tap in? And is Reverb Nation the main port of call, or is it, where would we go online to hear more of your tracks? Okay.
I'm stepping up a bit. I don't want people
Yeah.
to go to Reverb, and I don't want people to go to SoundCloud.
No.
I've got my own website now, and I'm on Bandcamp, which is where I make sales of the produced stuff. I don't use Reverb for selling anymore. I mean, I won't say any more on that
That's all
one.
We understand.
No, please do.
We'll do the
Please
same.
do.
No, go on, Rick.
They did shit all for me. That's what.
Shit, well, this is information. This is information radio, so we are offering a service.
That's the fun.
And if you've had a bad experience with them, then I'm sure everybody wants to know.
Well, how's that for point blank?
Well, yeah, I think we got the message there.
Oh, good.
Well, the thing is, I think with SoundCloud and Reverb Nation, they're good for just hosting your music, and it's a way to be able to post your music online. And I think it's all, it's good for, which sounds condescending, but just beginners. People would I just want to put my music online in the easiest kind of way possible. But I think Reverb Nation obviously want to upsell all the time. They want you to buy this or promote that or do whatever. And, they're just businesses. But there's so many platforms trying to, make money, basically, out of musicians. So, and then I think you step it up a gear. Like you just said, you go, there's, CD Baby or Bandcamp or what, I go with this most of, because I'm, completely obscure. I go with this one called Noise Trade, which people go, who? What? What's that? But it's just another a hosting site.
I've always liked Reverb Nation. I'm in actual fact I am number 47 on the Reverb Angel chart for absolutely sod all because I don't know what track it was, but they keep telling me I'm number 47. But there's only 44 people on there, so it's not really a good thing, is it?
You ever find
I don't want to bag Reverb because it's certainly there for a reason, and they were one of the first, and that's been absolutely fabulous for many people.
Yes.
I can't afford to be on 20 sites that I have to go and upload and update every day anymore, and that's why over time I've just learnt to make choices, and I've made a couple of other choices which I feel are better for certain things. So if you want to sell, there's a number of sites, and Bandcamp was one of the ones I chose. And they're for all the produced songs and for selling. And I've finally got around to finding the time to do my own website because so many times
you're dragging that body around again, aren't you? So,
are you rubbing your thighs together?
are you rubbing your thighs again?
I'm getting
rubbing our thighs.
tired.
Oh, yeah. Of us?
Oh.
No.
Sorry, carry on.
Yes, so
Yeah, Karen,
No,
so your website...
yes, so it's just that I finally got time to create a website because many times I did radio interviews. That's the first question they asked. And what's your website? I'm like, don't have one.
So
After about 4 years of saying that, I decided to... Sylkay's on Weebly.
Say again?
Pardon?
Sylkay's on what?
I'm on Weebly.
Weebly? Oh,
Weebly.
Is that narcotics? What is it?
No, it's just a free website hosting place.
Okay. Sylkay's on Weebly.
I'm on Weebly.
That's
They go on to
Is that a
Weebly.
legal high?
Probably.
So what? So what is the website address then? www.wobbly. What is it?
I think it's actually Sylkay.weebly.
Oh.
Sylkay.weebly.
And I didn't write it down, did I?
No,
but if you're lost,
it would have helped.
Go to Google Weebly and type in Sylkay on their search engine.
And you've got
And
obviously links to that on your Facebook page and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's all over my Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Definitely. I just wasn't prepared for that one tonight.
That's all right. That's right.
Because
So after 4 years of everybody, first question, so do you have a website? We eventually, after ages, go, so you got a website? And you're like, oh, God, I can't remember.
Exactly.
Can't remember the name. Should have written it down.
I've got one, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we can find you though, can't we?
I'm just so professional. You see, my agent didn't tell me. He handles all of that.
He should have given us the question. We should have given you the questions beforehand, shouldn't we? That's what you're saying.
It's quite all right. Actually,
How could you have given the questions beforehand? You don't know what you're saying tomorrow. What are you going to say next week?
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying in a minute. Never mind tomorrow. What are you talking about? I don't know what I'm saying at all.
what
We got a
was the
song
question
called.
again?
We got a song called Saint of Peace. Saint of Peace.
Yeah.
By Precious Wood. What's this one about?
This is a friend of mine from Facebook, and he doesn't really push himself at all. He's such a wonderful man. What I love about his music is and I said to this, and I've been privy to some of his demos, which I felt very lucky for. I said to him many times, you so remind me of Pink Floyd, that epic kind of music. This is one of many, but I just said, send me that one. That's one of the ones I love. So Saint of Peace, it's a really great song, and hope you think it's epic like I do. And if you do, go check him out, because he doesn't push himself. Really.
Did Jesus die? Did they nail him up high? And was Jesus slain? Did he go through the pain for me? Or is it a game that you're playing with my brain? If so, it's only shame that I can see that you're trying to fool me. If Jesus were alive, would we still sanctify? Or would he cry to see all the guilt that you lay on everyone every day? In the name of a saint,
literally.
That's Precious Wood there, a track called Saint of Peace, and that was chosen by our special guest here on the Limey Bastards, the awesome, the lovely Sylkay, KSB. Yeah. So yeah, I remember you telling me your mum was quite musical, wasn't she?
She was.
Yeah, so, and you were telling, I remember the last time you were telling me that she was quite proficient vocalist.
She was. She cut a 45 record. She was in country music for a very long time. She won the New Zealand Star Awards 1 year top female vocalist.
Wow.
And was in one main country band, and they were just working solid. And her and I entered many competitions.
So were you dragged around all these different venues and sitting in the wings and watching your mum sing and all that sort of stuff? Because I could make a movie out of it if you did.
Well, I did. Well, not really, because when she started in country music, she started me too. So I actually became part of a duet who actually won Best Junior Duet 2 years after my mum won the Best Female Vocalist of the Year. But we travelled around the country doing several things, and then this duet and I went on a children's television competition, and we got to the finals. We came fourth in the finals. Wow. So that was in New Zealand. But yeah, my mum was quite sought after, her and her band, and had been asked to cut the record with her own two originals.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And when you were in your duet, were you doing country music? Was it a country music sort of duet thing you were doing?
It was, yes. Not that I absolutely loved country music, because my first choice was always folk, but my earliest life was sort of.
Isn't that the same thing though? Isn't folk music the same thing without the guitars though, without the electric guitars? Isn't that what country music is?
It pretty much it.
He's winding you up.
Sorry.
They can actually lead into each other, though, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said I'm like certain people, and they can be from either genre. And I think maybe because I was influenced singing country music early on, you know how different things influence you? And then I sort of basically was copying people. Once I got out of country music, I was, big on singing Stevie Nicks, Ricky Lee Jones, and doing all kinds of different female vocalists, and really, really stretching and challenging my voice. So I don't think anyone can... Everyone who's said really nice things about me have said it's unique. It's not like anybody in particular.
You've definitely got your own voice, yeah. And we all go through stages, don't we, having our influences. Do what? Are you trying to pipe in? I'm asking serious journalistic questions here.
Run. I was going to say, do you think you've got a genre now that fits your music, or are you still sort of multi-genreal, if there's such a word as that?
Would you just call it folk? Do you just say folk music, or do you just kind of have it under that umbrella? We were saying,
I wouldn't say you're folky, are you?
Well, a little bit.
Do you want the short answer? Is nah.
How do you feel?
Okay.
No.
I honestly do believe that I sit down, me and my guitar, it's generally written kind of folky, but I'm still mixed between blues, folk, country, all into one. And then when we take it to production, it could become anything. I mean, they become ballads, they become folk pop, they become folk country or pop something else, you know. Productions.
See, I would like to put your voice on an EDM track, you know, on a dance track, because I think you've got a great voice, a great tone for that, for an EDM dance track, and I think you'd do really well.
Well, not the next song, but the one after. I'll tell you, it has been done.
It's already been done. Damn, you see, last
It's
again.
been done.
Dark Rain.
He basically took my vocals and put it to a dance track.
Oh, okay. So this next one then is from, who's it from? Which one? Mark Robinson. Is that right?
Mark Robertson, yes?
If I Should Fall from Grace. What's this one?
Yeah. This is one of my favourites of Mark's. I just really think this, again, is an epic song. So he's one of my Facebook friends, and I met Mark via my folk music movement group. One of my folky close friends introduced me to Mark, and I'm like, wow, love his music. And this is from his first album, but now he was doing one, and today he told me it's now split into 2 albums. So we're not 100% sure of the titles, but this I Should Fall from Grace is from his first original album, Up Until Recently it's called. Mark is a really great talent, and this is an epic song in my view, so I hope you like this one.
I should fall from grace, spill my seed upon the floor, would you love me anymore if I should fall from grace? I should break my word and turn a vow into a lie. Could you look me in the eye if I should break my word? If I should fall from grace, would the flowers cease to bloom into my face? Would the ceiling fall down on me in disgrace? Would you pack your bags and leave without a trace? The tenderness within, would you leave or start again if I should break your heart?
Yeah.
That's the awesome Mark Robinson there, a track called If I Should Fall from Grace. What a beautiful song that is. Absolutely fantastic. Nicely chosen. So we were just talking about rock and roll, weren't we?
Yeah.
In the
I like
break.
rock and roll sometimes. Yeah. Hooking up. She said hooking up a minute ago. I don't think I didn't notice it. You're just like, yeah, and then we hooked up. So I'm like, all right, okay. See?
So, of course, it had to go into rock and roll after that, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Where else could it go, Phil? Be honest. Where else
Oh,
could it go?
exactly. I mean, you know.
So you've had a bad couple of years, really, haven't you? Tough couple of years. Are you totally on the mend now and getting back into it, or is it still sort of a bit of a drag?
It's a bit of a long recovery, I'm afraid, because chemo knocks your body around so much. I'm sort of actually living with quite a few symptoms and tendonitis in my wrist, which is very painful. So being a at-home mummy, having to use my wrists every day, doing washing and dishes and all that crap, it doesn't help. And I've got a lot of other symptoms. It's just chemo. They blasted me because I've got an aggressive cancer, and it's just you don't realise how much it's done to your body, and until you're in this recovery mode, and you get very impatient because you're not getting better. Something else is going wrong. So it's affecting my teeth now. I've got to go and see a dentist, which I can't stand. It's my number one fear.
It's hard.
Because it's really...
in hindsight, would you rather not have had the chemo?
Kenny, I never really wanted to do it, as in if I stuck to my true nature, I wouldn't, but unfortunately no one around me knew enough, even myself. I believe in natural medicine. I had already read for about 2 years straight what chemo and radiation can do, but sadly I had to get my head around it because it wasn't doing me any good going through treatment, hating what I was doing to myself. So I had to change my attitude. And I had to find a balance. And I just said, well, I've just got to get through this and do my natural stuff later, and hopefully the right people will come into my life that I need at the right time.
So what are you doing now to build up your body and your immune system back up, naturally? What are you? Give us some of your little hints and your little recipes you're using now for natural. I know you're big into juicing, aren't you?
Yeah, juicing's number one. As in, I don't do 6 juices a day. I do one main one, but how can I say? I've done a year's worth of research trying to get down what are the kitchen cupboard cures and what are the top priorities. And every day I find out something new, but I do juices and I get quite a bit of stuff in there, as in fruit. I use spinach a lot and avocado a lot.
Okay.
And good things like flaxseed oil, olive oil, and then I just mix them with other things like a protein mix as well. I supplement with only a number of things, and I just have to take it easy and just slowly build. You can't overwhelm, because number one, the chemotherapy was toxic, and you don't want to detox big time after coming out of that.
No, that's true, yeah.
So it's just a matter of building every I set myself a target for a week about what I'm going to get in, and I definitely get turmeric in. Turmeric is all over the place as killing off cancer cells.
That's brilliant stuff.
Another big thing for breast cancer is iodine. The lack of iodine is pretty much a lot to speak about breast cancer. Big main supplements is vitamin D3. Get it from the sun, or supplement if you can't get in the sun enough. There's a list, and actually I'm in the process of, I've had an idea for a book, and the book's forming, and sort of getting close to writing now.
Excellent.
And in that book, I hope to pass on some of that stuff.
That's fantastic. My sister sadly died of cancer a couple of years ago, but she wrote. She was a very, very, very positive woman, and she wrote a little pamphlet, really, of her thoughts when she was going to the hospital, and then the hospital got it all printed out, and then they now give it out to new cancer patients, because there's a lot of stuff that you don't know. I mean, you're because obviously when you go to the hospital or the doctor, you're very frightened and you're very scared. And there's not a lot of information about, and she just she just said things like you got to trust your doctors and put your trust in people and just relax and know that it's going to be okay. And above all, be positive about everything. Just keep a positive attitude, and lots of other stuff besides. But I thought that was brilliant, and she's they're still using it.
That's funny. I've got to tell you a similar story, Kenny. My mum, before she died of breast cancer, was involved with the hospital here, and her and my dad did one of these personal interviews that the hospital had asked if they would do. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I had been given the cassette and couldn't really come to actually listen to it yet.
Sure.
But anyway, I got this cancer kit from the hospital, as you do, and I got this CD which is for your partner. And I'd never listened to it because it was basically targeted at the partners, and I was just overloaded in information. Mm-hmm. So one day I was sitting at my computer and I thought, I'll have a listen to it, see what's on it. And I heard my mum's voice.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I went, oh my God. It was strange. And I thought, oh, well, I'm obviously ready to hear it. So they're actually, Mum and Dad, my stepdad, are on the CD they give to all breast cancer women's partners.
Excellent. That's fantastic, isn't it?
So it's great to know that their legacies are, and that they helped. It's wonderful. As you'd feel about your sisters.
Yeah. So the next track we've got up is called Song to My Son by Andrew Skelton. What's this
yes. Andrew's actually produced a few of my songs.
Okay.
But this particular song is how I got to know him from Reverb Nation again. When you hear it, I think you'll understand why. I'm a real sucker for an emotional song and an emotional delivery. And I said that to Andrew, and we'd known each other for a couple of years, and then he offered to produce a couple of songs, and we're still mates on Facebook, still connected, and I hope you really like this one, because I think it's brilliant, and it's a song he wrote for his son.
Days are so shaky, night cannot hide. The thought for you grows deep down inside, and I want you to know that I'm here. But life semi-conscious was not good for me. Someday you'll know, but now I will see. And I promise you that I'll be. And if life somehow messes up my vow, oh, I promise I'll do anything, 'cause I know how it feels. I don't want us to have what I had. That disappoints you, please be aware. The time you arrive, thoughts I do bear, and I want you to know that I was there. I'm really not happy with you far away. The way the world's gone, I don't have much to say, and I hope someday that you'll understand. Wanna tell you now, wanna talk, but how am I supposed to be anything other than wanna show you now how you make me proud. Can't believe that it's happened this way, 'cause it's oh so hard. My mind's left scarred, and I think of you constantly. Won't you help me through? From my point of view, you're my son and I love you. And if life somehow messes up my vow, oh, I promise I'll do anything, 'cause I know how it feels. I don't want us to have what I have. Wanna tell you now, wanna talk, but how am I supposed to be anything?
And that's Andrew Skelton there, and a song to my son. What a lovely song that was. Yeah, that was chosen by Limey Sylkay, who's still hanging in there with us. Are you doing okay there, Sil? I know it's getting quite late for you, isn't it?
hanging in. It's fossil hour.
Fossil hour. She's
Fossil.
calling us. That's what she's calling us, I think. That's about us.
No, well-
I think.
Well,
I don't like the word old. I call myself a fossil, and a fossil is a well-preserved thing.
True.
So I'm a
yeah,
fossil.
you
It's
keep telling
fossil
yourself
hour.
that. You keep telling
I
yourself
will.
that.
I will.
Keep up,
I'm
keep
good
up those,
wine.
keep up those positive affirmations. I'm a well-preserved fossil.
I
I've never heard
am.
of that. I've never heard
It's
of
like a
that
good
one. But
wine.
that's cool. Yeah.
A little fossil. So we've got another song coming up, which is called what's it called? Riot Song. Is this the one you were talking about? That was the EDM song by the Little
Oh,
Unsaid.
is it?
Ah.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
actually,
You did-
Andrew Skelton is the guy who did
right.
a dance track, for me.
Okay.
This one, the Little Unsaid. He's I don't know him personally, but he's don't know how to describe him. The first album I bought, really I could describe him like cross between medieval modern gypsy music. I just really love his stuff. But this song is actually from his latest album, because I had lost his original album, which I really wanted to play a song from. But anyway, I bought the second album, so this is one of the ones that I've chosen, one of the top few. So The Little Unsaid, definitely worth checking out. Very different music.
Feed the devil. Here comes the boss of your webpage. Send him whiskey. Send him thoughts of ashen saints. 'Cause all the lies are gone. All we know is that the Reaper's coming soon. Call the riot song. Up from the bellies of the enraged and ruined. just for Darwin. Those who know not why they're here, 'cause all the lies are gone. So peel the tongues out of the yawning of her sleep and call the riot song up from the bottom of the rolling deep. When we collide with love. We are the comets and the moons and the Mars. When we collide, we'll show the gods what we're made of, made of. I'll never be a beauty queen, hairbrush princess on a magazine. Fashion labels aren't my scene. They sell the dream that I ain't buying. The world today expects too much, makes a woman feel she's not enough. Well, suck it in or give it up. Well, who's to judge me in that light? I'm imperfectly alright. I am what I am, I'm all that you see. Nothing more, nothing less than I should be. Look at my face, I've earned every line. Yes, I have curves some may define. You may not think I fit in, but I fit perfectly in my skin. There was a time I'd do anything to fit into those skinny jeans, but it wasn't meant to be. So I would sing my blues away. Now I still take a look at myself and I see some things that need a little help. But so does everyone else. I accept what I can't change, and I'm imperfectly okay. I am what I am, I'm all that you see. Nothing more, nothing less than I should be. Look at my face, I've earned every line. Yeah, I have curves that may define. And you may not think I fit in, but I fit perfectly in my skin. Now I don't think that love is blind. I think beauty lies in the beholder's eyes. Should be. Look at my face, I've earned every line. Yeah, I have curves that may define. And you may not think I fit in, but I fit perfectly in my skin. You may not think I fit in, but I fit.
And that's a song by the incredible lady by the name of Curvy Jane, who is a friend of Sylkay's. That's a track called In My Skin. What's that one about then? So what's that one about? Who is Curvy Jane? Because Jimmy wants to know.
I got to know Curvy Jane via a friend on Facebook. I've mentioned Deborah Millstone, I think on one of your other shows. Deborah helps me with my radio show listing and has her own show as well. And Curvy Jane's been a close friend of hers for years, and she wanted to introduce us. And Jane is just such a wonderful, inspiring woman. She's been going through even more than what I've been going through for quite a few years, and she manages to run a business for charity from her home. I could go on and I'd get very emotional. She's just one amazing woman. She's got an amazing sense of humour. I love her to bits. Her and I talk on the phone now, so it's a little bit more personal connection. And she's from Tamworth and quite a successful songwriter. She's written for some country music stars down there.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, and has her own music as well.
So the last track.
Go on.
Sorry, James. No, you please do.
No, I was just going to say, it's just amazing. What I've really stumbled across is just the amazing amount of talent of we talk about this often sometimes, just the amount of talent out there, and she said your friend, and it's like, just people just have this incredible talent, and now we've got this outlet with the internet to that would be heard, because so many people didn't get the opportunity to really be heard or present their music. It was like, also you're playing live and what have you, but to a global audience, even if that's a small audience, it's like you're playing to, the people who, and we were saying that thing as well lately of, when you get excited about finding, it doesn't necessarily need to be a big band or big artist, but just even somebody who's just doing their own thing and got their own little corner of the internet, their own little thing. It's quite exciting finding people who they're new to you, even though they may have been doing it for years, but you find them new, and it's like a little kind of, you feel excited by finding but I'm just always, I don't know, I get blown away by the amount of talent that's out there. And,
me too.
I remember the first time I met James Angel. It was back in the 60s, and he was flashing himself on the internet, as they do. And I thought, what a lovely chappie that James Angel. What a lovely chappie. Yeah. And he sings. He's musical.
I tell you, I really do. I wish I was a singer, from the 50s or early 60s. I'm in the wrong era completely.
I thought you were.
I wish I was. I wish I was. No, I wish I was like 19 in 1968 or something like that.
You've got the quiff. You've got the quiff and everything. I thought you were from the 60s, no?
No, I'm just kind of in a time warp. Kind of my life feels like that, but my body kind of feels like that sometimes actually. But no, I'm just that's my kind of thing. My quiff's still in the past, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? He's just taking the mickey out of me. He's taking the mickey out of me.
Dreamer. So the last track you've chosen is by a mutual friend of ours, the lovely Tina Britton. And
yes.
I know you're very close with Tina, aren't you? And you've met up and stuff, and you've
yes, I was lucky enough to meet her when we were in the UK. Actually, I was going to meet another guy in Scotland as well, but unfortunately that didn't happen due to as you're on holidays and with family and things came up, so I didn't get to meet Ian Robertson, sadly. Hi Ian, if you're listening. But I did. I said if if I go to the UK, I have to meet Christina. So it was actually turned out not too far from Edinburgh where Christina is. So on our way through, we stopped and had lunch with her.
Oh, fantastic.
Love her to bits. Her and I are exactly the same size and both got dark hair, although I haven't anymore. She's wonderful. I love her to bits. I could rave, but she's such a talented girl, artist, pen and ink drawer, writes novels, sings. I mean, you know.
Incredible amount of talent that's out
she's
there.
amazing.
Isn't
And
it?
she's a gorgeous, gorgeous girl.
Cool.
I don't wanna live a life that doesn't include you. We were all I know. How do I do this without you? Who the hell am I now that I'm all alone? I hesitated. Now I think you're gone forevermore. I should have waited. I should have grabbed on for all you were worth. It's so lonely here. Memories are all I own. If I could have trusted, but nothing's left, I'm overdrawn. I didn't mean to say those things, I didn't mean to push you away. Should I welcome what life had to bring? Instead I wanted things my way. I hesitated, should have held on for longer, till I couldn't feel the ache. I should have been stronger for both our sakes. If I hadn't anticipated, if I had just carried on with what we both created, you wouldn't be gone. I hesitated, now I think you're gone forevermore. I should have waited, I should have grabbed on for all we were worth. In the end I wasn't strong enough, we slipped through my fingers. I should have believed in us, it's only pain that lingers. I hesitated, now I think you're gone forevermore. I should have waited, I should have grabbed on for all we were worth. How did I define myself?
The awesome Christina Britton there, and I Hesitated, which you did, I think, with a guy called Burnt Will, which is a brilliant track. I love that track. I've always loved that track of Tina. She's, as you say, an awesome talent and a lovely lady too.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit like yourself. Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
I'm going to gush now. Well, it's been great. It's been great talking to you, Sil. Thanks for coming on the show. I know it's not been easy for you because you're well past your bedtime over there and in Australia, but it's been great talking to you. And I know Jimmy's been wanting to talk to you for a while.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's been great.
His
And
day.
it's been fabulous being able to present some tracks. Like I said, I could have done a heap more, but anyway, them's the 12.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
hard.
have to come back and pick another 12. That's it.
Yeah, I'll just have to, won't I?
Do it all over again.
Yeah.
I think it's been fabulous talking to you, my dear. And it's, I say, that's all we've got time for on the Limey Bastards Show this week. We'll be back again next week. We're going to play you out with a song by the lovely Sylkay herself, and it's one of Jimmy's favourites, I think, called "Covered in Time."
Oh, thank you.
So until we see you again, it's good night from me.
It's good night from him.
try and get a bit more enthusiasm into that, Jimmy. When you're doing that.
And it's good night from me, and it's good night from me. And it's so really nice to speak to you, Sylkay. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think you're a diamond, and I love your music. Absolutely adore your music. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you. It's been great.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Sil. Thank you, everybody, listening. Thanks for joining us in the chat room. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you and good night.
Traveled the road of grief and despair, the heartache of life, the tears and the fears, buried the memories, the thorns crept right in. A moss-covered mind, the dark moved right in. Is it she you see in the mirror? Can you see you're just covered in time? Wipe away the layers of history. Awaken to a dawn of new life. The petals are picked, they fall into the ground, dissolve in my heart to a dirt-covered frown.